During my reading week studying abroad in Angers, I of course took a Flixbus to Paris. I could even see the Eiffel Tower from the bus. 4 hours later, I met up with my friend and her mom in the 11e arrondissement to visit the apartment we would call home for the next 6 days. That's the lobby area with free tea and coffee. We were on the 7th floor in a beautiful apartment. That's the kitchenette, where we saved a lot of money making our own breakfast and packing sandwiches. This is the Parisian view from our balcony. That's the pull-out couch. Then we have more beds in here, as well as some closet space and a safe. A toilet separate from the bathroom. And then the Eiffel Tower view from our balcony. On our first full day, we began by visiting the Arc de Triomphe, using the underground passage to get a closer look of the underside. We also saw the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier and the Eternal Flame. We followed that up with a complete tour around Paris from the Seine with a Bateau Mouche tour. Seeing all the main attractions right from the get-go was honestly the best way to discover Paris for the first time. Here we can see Notre Dame from the front, and this is it from the backside, still under construction. Here we passed the Alliance Française, and the cruise came to an end with picture-perfect views of the Eiffel Tower without the swarms of people crowding in front of it. We then climbed well over 200 steps to the very top of Montmartre for amazing views and to visit Sacré-Cœur, which has free admission. It was only on the way down that we took advantage of the funiculaire once we realized it was included in our Navigo Transportation Weekly Pass. We ended our day by tasting some fruity macarons. Raspberry was the best. The next day, we visited the Paris Catacombs, which is 20 meters below street level and holds the bones of more than 6 million Parisians. If you are claustrophobic or tall, I would not recommend it. It was a unique experience, but not a must-see, in my opinion. We even saw people restoring one of the walls of bones. Next, we visited the Jardin des Tuileries for a picnic lunch. I was surprised by how big it was, despite being in the heart of Paris, in the first arrondissement. We brought our books and our baguettes and enjoyed a peaceful afternoon, away from the hustle and bustle. We heard the birds, watched the boats, and then headed back to join the crowds to visit Notre Dame. The line was enormous, but luckily we had reserved our free tickets ahead of time to skip it. I loved the stained glass windows. Then we visited what turned out to be my favorite chapel, Sainte-Chapelle, known for its immense stained glass windows, which recount the Bible story from Genesis to Revelation. Okay, time to admire some pastries. We loved these delicacies. Our favorites were the mango, tarte à la framboise, et l'essentiel. Délicieux! On our third day, we enjoyed a bird's eye view of the city from the tallest tower, Tour Montparnasse. These tickets were part of a package with the Bateau Mouche tickets. We learned about the construction of the Eiffel Tower and the history of Paris indoors, and then visited the terrace for the views. Then we stopped at the affordable but fancy restaurant, Bouillon Chartier, where we enjoyed some steak frites. On our way to the Louvre, we added a lock to the Pont des Arts to seal our friendship. And then we waited in line to enter the largest museum in the world. Since it would take 100 days to spend 30 seconds at each piece of art, we had to pick and choose what to see. The rooms we did see were fascinating, but after over 3 hours of walking around and admiring everything, we were exhausted. Day 4, we took a trip to Versailles. The palace was an ornate work of art. Unfortunately, inside it was so overcrowded with guided tours, so it was difficult to take it all in and really appreciate it. Art surrounded us from the walls to the ceilings to the furniture. There was a lot more space to spread out and stretch our legs in the gardens afterwards. My favorite part was the musical fountains, which danced to the music. Lastly, we visited Le Petit Trianon, known for being the residence of Marie Antoinette. On our 5th and final full day in Paris, Fiona and I climbed the Eiffel Tower. That's right, 674 steps all the way to the 2nd floor. It was such a cool experience, and we also saved a lot of money compared to taking the elevator. But we got to take the elevator all the way down for free. Then at night, we returned to admire the Eiffel Tower, sparkling in all its glory. The perfect way to wrap up our Paris trip. It was the best, most memorable reading week yet.